Oh, good. You've got the streaming and the recording going. Good.
Yep, I think we're all set.
Okay. I then am going to sign off, so I will see you later.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
See you tomorrow, Alice.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, welcome, everyone.
See you
I call
later.
the June 25th, 2020 zoning meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. We're still in Zoom mode because of COVID-19. I'm Mary Cappiello, Vice Chair. With us tonight are Commissioners Chris Delia, Tony Fernandez, Leslie Ruggiero. The alternates Frank Kwok, Gaspar Maturano, and Kurt Timmerman are present also. Eric Cook is absent, so we'll be elevating Gaspar to voting member tonight. All right, first up, the June 11th, 2020 minutes. Does anyone have any corrections, comments?
Looks good.
All right, do we have a motion?
I have a motion to approve the minutes of 6/11/20.
Awesome, second.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? The minutes are approved. Next is the zoning enforcement officer's report. Fran,
Yeah, we're up again. Okay, it's been quiet, but we're gonna have a discussion after we go through the agenda tonight. 49 Candlewood Shores Road, that's the playground that's in the front yard. That's to be removed August 14th. She's having that relocated to another property. And then 19A Elbow Hill Road with Attorney Neil Marcus, who was present at the last meeting. He is scheduled to have submission into us by the July 9th meeting for a zone change for 19A or 19 Elbow Hill Road. And we'll go from there. But there's some other things we'll discuss afterwards and just get the opinion of the commission on some stuff. So,
all right,
and that's going to be it for now.
awesome, sounds great. All right, we did receive some correspondence. Let's see what we have. We have a memo dated June 12th, which is actually from us to the Planning Commission regarding their opinion regarding 19 Station Road townhouses. We said the zoning, or actually Nina Mack was so kind as to say it on behalf of us. The Zoning Commission has requested the Planning Commission to please review the zoning meeting held June 11th, 2020 in regards to the discussion that took place informally regarding 19 Station Road. There is currently no application before the Zoning Commission, so this is a preliminary discussion. The Zoning Commission would like your opinion as to whether townhomes fronting Station Road, including one building behind them, would meet the POCD vision standards for the downtown. The link to the zoning meeting of 6/11/2020 is attached. The discussion begins at 47 minutes, 10 seconds into the tape. And then they got back to us with a memo dated June 19th, 2020. So it's to us, the Zoning Commission, from the Planning Commission regarding 19 Station Road development. It reads, please be advised that the regular meeting of the Planning Commission held on June 18th, 2020, the Commission had following discussion regarding 19 Station Road development. And they kind of just listed it in their little paragraph form. 5, correspondence. A, memo from Zoning Commission regarding 19 Station Road development dated June 12th, 2020. That was a letter I just read a minute ago. The Commission spent considerable time discussing this item that came before the Zoning Commission at its June 11th meeting under informal discussion. A site plan for 5 buildings has already been approved, but the proposal under discussion is to allow for 2 of the buildings to consist of 5 townhomes each to be located on Station Road with another building placed behind the proposed buildings, no frontage. The issue at hand is that the Plan of Conservation and Development, POCD, for the Town Center District calls for commercial entities on the ground floor with residential units above. This townhome only proposal for the 2 buildings would be in contrast to what the townspeople preferred when the POCD was approved 5 years ago. Chairman Van Heis asked that a memo be sent to the Zoning Commission stating that the Planning Commission had discussed this matter at length with mixed feelings and opinions offered by its members. He noted that the POCD envisioned commercial use on the first floor with residences on the upper floor or floors. He stated that the Commission recognizes that needs down the road may arise that may necessitate the plan being modified and changed. He suggested the Zoning Commission members listen to the tape of this meeting, approximately 7:35 to 8:15 p.m., noting the Commissioner's comments during the discussion to glean the sentiments expressed by the attendees on this matter. Please feel free to contact me should you have any questions regarding the matter. All right. And then we had a letter dated, I guess actually came in via email, June 23rd, 2020, to members of the Zoning Commission and the Planning Commission from Alan Rothman, Brookfield Village LLC. I appreciate the Zoning Commission and Planning Commission's discussion of our proposal for a remote building in the center of the lot and townhouses on Station Road. Your discussion of the low traffic on Station Road, the remoteness of the building in the middle of any traffic. The transition townhouses would be offered from commercial to residential, and the goal of building higher end townhomes was accurate. One thing we liked about the townhouses was they could be built without disturbing wetlands. However, we understand that the commissions want commercial on Station Road. Current zoning requires the entire bottom floor to be commercial. But as everyone noted, Station Road does not produce much traffic and it will be difficult for us to rent. So we suggest the following. 1, we build the building labeled as Building 3A on the schematic that he enclosed, as shown on the attached, on Station Road with almost 50% commercial on the side of the building facing Station Road. We would need the caveat that if, even with diligent efforts, we cannot rent space within 3 years, we can convert the space to residential use. The attached shows a minimal disturbance to wetlands, which we are hopeful the Inland Wetlands Committee would accept. Our prior proposals to inland wetlands have been met with pushback and our fears that maybe nothing can be built on this land, which is not good to create a downtown. 2, the building in the middle be entirely residential. That's Building 3B. Building 3B is remote from any road. It has now been a few years since we started marketing space at 800 Federal Road. We still have not been able to rent the back portion of the building at 800 Federal Road because it is remote from the road. But the building at 800 Federal Road is not as isolated as Building 3B, which does not bode well for renting any commercial space in Building 3B. Thank you for your time, Alan Rothman, Brookfield Village. And then with that, he did just attach a schematic of all the buildings he referenced in the letter. So that's correspondence. And we have no continued public hearings. We have no new public hearings. There's no old business. So that gets us to new business. 401B Federal Road, that's the Brookfield Primary Care. B-19-91, this is for bond release in the amount of $47,025.56 for landscape improvements. And I see that Fran signed off on it on June 17th. Did you have anything you wanted to say about it?
No, I visited the site. Everything is growing beautiful out there as you drive by. It's a beautiful building. It came out really nice, except for the drought right now. You can see the grass starting to die, but otherwise plantings, everything's alive and everything is really thriving there. So it looks good. So
awesome. Did anybody else have any questions about it? It's pretty straightforward. They did the landscaping and like you said, it looked great. So we would get zoning approval. We need a motion to send this to the Board of Selectmen for them to authorize the bond release. So do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve to send to the Board of Selectmen for the bond release of $47,025.56. Application B-19-91. Dated 06/08/2020. Hope I did that right.
Sounded great. And I thought I heard a second somewhere in there.
Yeah, I second.
Awesome. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I should vote too. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll send this off to the Board of Selectmen. All right. Moving right along. Next is 100 Candlewood Lake Road, the new to be Huckleberry Hill Elementary School, Z-20-64. And we're setting a public hearing tonight. We can hear that our next meeting, July 9th, 2020. If anybody wanted to just make a motion that we set a public hearing for July 9th, 2020.
Can we say just so moved? That's what we do at the library board.
I know once one of us gets all the details into the record, it's like, yeah, that, what she said, what he said.
It's such a mouthful.
And second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Jasper beat me to it.
Aye.
Hi.
Hey, we don't have sports. We got to race on something. Anybody opposed? All right. The public hearing will be in 2 weeks on July 9th, 2020. that the town is excited about that. All right, new business continues. 849 Federal Road, that's Takobachi, Z-20-65. It's for a site plan modification for a 792 square foot addition to the back of the restaurant. It looks like it received approval from Inland Wetlands back on February 24th, 2020. And do we have someone here to present the proposal?
I do not see him present at all, Mary.
Okay, I was looking real quickly at names. It's hard to see
Yeah.
where there's no faces.
I'm looking in the participants. I don't see him in the waiting room either.
Okay. So maybe we'll just kind of table that just in case he shows up toward the end.
Yeah, we can do that. Yep.
Okay. Otherwise we can't do much without him anyway. That being said, there are no tabled items. Then we're just up to informal discussion. And tonight we had Mike Gallup, and is Greg Steinert here too, or just Mike? It's like Mike. I guess you wanted to discuss also for 401 Federal Road. Tapville, it's a franchise. Looks like you're looking at the mobile kiosk, and it's a self-pour alcoholic beverage situation. What can you tell us about it?
Sure. Hope everybody's doing well. So, yeah, so Tapville is based out of Chicago. They have 3 different types of self-serve beer, wine, and cider. Restaurant-based, the kiosk, which you'll see in some of the malls in Chicago, and their new venture is a mobile unit, about 16 feet, self-enclosed unit. The main thing at Tapville is the technology that they have in the trailer itself. So the ways you could come get a beer at the mobile unit is you get a card or an app or on your app in order to get some type of alcohol, whatever it may be, cider. The technology allows that when you do use your app or the card, so if I don't have the app on my phone, I can still go to the beer attendant, if you will, get a card. I can go up to the tap. I can use my card, and I can get a flight, 2 ounces, 8 ounces of beer. The beauty of the technology, it shuts off at 32 ounces of beer. So it has control within the technology so that if there's concerns about overpouring or somebody getting too much, it automatically stops at 32 ounces. And then obviously for evaluation. Also in Chicago, where they have these live, it also allows to, again, for that tracking attendant, and if you needed to know how much someone had, you have that within the technology itself. So another good thing there. The other thing which was really important, the beer that's there, since we do have many breweries around the area, this is also going to help local breweries because all the beer in there obviously comes from the surrounding towns that have breweries. So it's also helping out the community there. And then Greg's not on, but the thought there was that we could really build a really nice kind of garden just wrapped around the trailer. Obviously, the trailer is only used weather permitting and obviously not in the winter, but because of the land they have there, and obviously we're going into the barn there, you could have something pretty nice where people can come sit, of course, get barbecue if they'd like, but also have a beer, and again, up to 32 ounces. So in short, that's kind of the thought pattern around it. The state of Connecticut did pass early on the Senate, so you had the documentation. Our liquor lawyer says we can ask for an administrative move on that. It was passed 17-1 in order for them to kind of move that into law. So that's something that we've also investigated. But we wanted to just talk about it a little bit informally and see if you guys had questions about it.
Did you say liquor lawyer?
Yeah. That's actually his name, Sean O'Leary at Chicago, and he calls himself the liquor lawyer.
That's good.
So I used it.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, he calls himself the. Actually, to be honest with you, the Irish liquor lawyer is his title. So
That's funny.
Would someone have to hold a liquor license like you or a permittee for?
correct. Yes.
And
So,
do you,
so the
do you
trailer
have one
obviously,
now or not?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a liquor license now, or you have to go get
No,
that?
no, I don't. No, yeah, you'd have to go that. Yeah.
And it would be sort of an accessory to your food truck, is it basically. But in that area, in the 401 Federal Road.
Correct. And Greg's not on, but he thought it would obviously. We'd love to have a brewery there, but due to COVID, I think you're going to see more mobile and smaller venues these days, outdoor type venues, and we're seeing that today. So when the opportunity came up, I thought it was kind of something good going forward because, again, obviously now that we've been going through COVID ourselves, we're seeing more and more mobile opportunities.
yeah. So this is a stationary, obviously the only time you move it is during the winter time, the store, and then it's just, it's there.
Right. It's self-enclosed. The front closed down, it's lockable, but everything's inside. Again, besides the technology and stuff when you roll it up, but it is self-enclosed. So obviously, yeah, in the wintertime, it needs to get shut down because everything's going to, the iPads and all that stuff go inside.
You mentioned before that you have the technology to track how much people have had.
Yes.
How does that work?
So in the tap bill, so when you take your card, your RFID card, and when you go to engage the tap itself, it's going to pour based on ounces. Okay, that card or that person's app is only allowed 32 ounces, and then it does not shut back on. So you basically 2 beers or a flight of beers if you want to try multiple beers.
And you get charged for how many ounces you actually take from the taps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, Pyology does something like this out in California. They don't do it in Connecticut yet, but
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Connecticut, this would, potentially be the first. But yeah, there's places I've gone to Massachusetts across the country that have self-serve beer. And the state, if you read the 254, it coincides with the 32 ounces.
Does it limit how much anyone can have in a certain period of time?
Meaning if it's a 24-hour, I can check with that. I mean, how many hours before you can re-engage?
Well, 32 ounces. When is the next 32 ounces applicable? I mean, can they walk?
I can get you. Yeah, I can get you the exact hours. I believe it's 24, but I can confirm.
Oh, that much. Okay.
Yeah. But I'll confirm.
Okay.
And the seating, there would be seating around it so people could hang out and have the beer and this place. How is that going to work?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten to it, but I mean, it would be kind of, you could, what I envision would just be and Greg's not on, just some type of areas where you can kind of meander and have a beer, stand up type, tables, and go from there and obviously grab food. We have stand up tables ourselves that we use. So,
There's no location in mind at this point.
Oh, it would be at 401 where we're moving into the cornfield, Red Barn. So just in that area, we obviously haven't looked at any plans or anything like that. But, my thought was originally it could be a pretty nice, for that area, it could be a nice addition there with the property and, I don't know, beer by the river. I mean, so it's not a bar, it's more of just, hey, you can have some food or bring your own food, whatever it may be, have a beer. And I think the most important thing is that people who like craft beer, it's not just Knott Hill or Housatonic. It's multiple local beers, Charter Oaks, Black Hog that you can taste, as well as as well as cider and red and white wine.
And I think that Greg and his family have an idea of keeping more farm stuff there because he had mentioned that maybe in a inland wetlands meeting. That's why he's planted back in corn and stuff like that.
Of course, I want my garden, so for my jalapenos and stuff like that.
There you go.
So, right. So, I was like, hey, man, we could do it around the garden. But I think it, just in general, it could be a nice area to kind of keep it still, still green.
I think it sounds fun, and I really like the fact that it would be the first. I think that's great. I think that's a selling point for our town. People are going to want to come here to check that out. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If you guys have been up to Housatonic lately, I mean, yeah, and again, I think because of the mobile aspect, again, wintertime, it's not going to be there. We can kind of move it, wrap it around, and then self-enclosed. So the new normal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Creative ways to still have fun with friends.
Yeah. And it
Right.
sounds like
Yeah.
everybody seems to like the idea, most of us
Yeah.
here.
This looks great.
Well, we appreciate it.
When do you expect to have it up and running if once everything's approved?
So the next thing would be to just make sure to have the liquor lawyer apply to the legislature, because they're not coming in session, to get approval there. Again, it was approved in the Senate. He doesn't think that would be a problem, and then kind of start the process from there.
So it wouldn't be this summer. You're probably looking at next year or fall.
Yeah, fall. That's what I was thinking, more of fall. It takes about, I know trailers, so it takes them, 6 or 7 weeks to build a trailer and all that. But I was just thinking fall, they could get it up and running. Could be nice, and as Greg's doing the site plan, he can kind of incorporate that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This looks great.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, I hope you can get everything through the state when you need it. I know, like you said, officers are, everything's a little slow. Everything's being run a little differently, but everybody's still making things happen.
Yeah. Well, I've got faith in the liquor lawyer.
Not going to
All
let
right.
that go. We love that. That's great.
Yeah, that is really Sean O'Leary, the liquor lawyer. That's
As opposed to the Lincoln lawyer, right? That's right.
yeah, right. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks so much.
Good luck to you, Mike.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
All right, and no one came back in for 849 Federal Road? I don't see any new names.
No.
I see less names than before. Okay, so we'll skip over that. Did anybody else have any thoughts, anything on your mind?
I about the planning, their video, it seems like they have the same sort of mixed feelings like we did. And I was looking through the POCD, and it does allow for amendments between the 10-year cycles. So if we look at those areas that we might think could be amended, if we think it's appropriate, for Station Road or even for interior lots, and then see if that also would roll into a zoning change, So I think those things are looked at, but it's nice to see that Brookfield Village is listening and is willing to make some changes for, commercial on the Station Road, to give it a try. So I guess we have to look to see what we can do about, a stipulation or an agreement that they can revert to all residential if they can't get anything done in 3 years. But like you said, inland wetlands might kick that back anyway, depending on how much wetlands disturbance there might be.
Yeah.
What jumped out at me when I was reading about it was the fact that they're willing to make diligent efforts. Let's make, after diligent effort, if we can't get tenants within 3 years. And, diligent, it's not enough for me, I feel, at this moment. I want something stronger than diligent. Some people might argue that's good, but I think that if that's what the town's intention was, I want something more concrete than we're going to make, a good faith effort to get somebody in there. I want to see some real effort, something with some teeth on it.
I agree, Tony. I think my biggest concern is that this is not done yet. we've still got a grocery store coming. This whole
Yeah.
project is not done yet. So I sympathize with the developer and that they're concerned that they will not be able to rent. However, my sympathies lie more with residents, and this is what the residents believe they were getting, was a downtown
Right.
shopping and eating district. And I would like to see everything done, the grocery store, the whole 9 yards, the whole project, not just Brookfield Village, the whole enchilada. And then they can't rent. Okay, fine. I understand. But to say now when it's barely finished, I mean, will we even say it's a third of the way done? I don't know. It's hard for me to be sympathetic to that when, you know, if you build it, they will come. Well, it's not built yet. So
And conversely, if you give away the retail space too soon, you'll never get it back.
right,
It does
right.
get bustling and everybody's excited and it's a real economic center and people are like, oh, I wish there was room for another store. Oh, we gave it away.
Right.
I'm thinking about comparable areas, and it's hard to think of imagine it's a back area from what's there now, but things that come to mind are all filled. Like I think about Ridgefield, where Voodoo Browns is. There's like a weird building back there that has all this little commercial stuff, and I don't know what's up top, but I mean, if that place can get some kind of commercial stuff going on, so can we. I really feel like that's a good point, that it's still early and the feel of downtown is still developing, and it's going in a direction where they will fit these commercial units. So I'm really on board with that. I'm sticking to that as much as possible.
And
I have a-
you have to
Oh,
put
sorry,
some,
go ahead.
not dates, but sequencing, time sequencing, that not only their own stuff when they put their buildings in, but like Leslie mentioned, the rest of the whole town center district, to see, because what if it takes forever to put in that shopping center that people are talking about?
Yeah, okay,
So
that's a
they
good point.
want to see some some stakes in the road, and so do we. And I think
Yeah.
we have to agree to what those stakes are, as like the whole village concept, and see what's got to happen before we even continents, having you change it back from commercial to residential. Because that, like you said, if things take off, it could be that, I wish we had kept it, sort of thing.
My question is, didn't the purchaser of the property, didn't he know the rules or the zoning rules when he purchased the property? So, I mean, if he purchased it knowing that he had to have the bottom floor having commercial, if he didn't think he could have did it, he shouldn't have bought the property.
It's hard to argue with them.
Yeah, I think what he's asking us is, things are changing, the business climate and everything else. Do we agree with that? And then to change some of the zone. And I think that's the overall arching thing. Are things changing enough for us to go back and look at the POCD and back at zoning? Or do we think, no, not enough yet? We have to keep the rules in place.
That sort of, I appreciate, we want to work that, but you're asking us that in a pandemic. Of course things don't look as good as they could, but you're asking me now, so that I have real hesitation with saying, oh yeah, look at the business climate. It's bad everywhere, it's not horrible in Brookfield. I think we're doing pretty well, but I don't think it's a fair judgment point right now because of what we're doing.
Yeah,
And I think-
it's just so to be clear, they asked about this back in September, not way before. It had gone to the selectmen, and they had supported something like this, nothing about Station Road, but about that one interior building.
Right.
And that's all they talked about previous to this. This whole Station Road is new. So to your point, Tony, now with COVID, it's hard to make any judgment about Station Road.
Well, and I think the 3-year thing is a little disconcerting to me, because all they have to do is say, okay, you know what, now we just sit on our hands for 3 years and then we'll be able to make apartments out of it.
Well, that's why defining diligent is so important.
Yeah, look, if you told me there was going to be 10 years, that's a different story. But 3 years is not that long just to kind of wait and then figured you could just, they don't have to do a lot. What does it mean exactly? Gonna advertise the space or just leave it empty? Not bother. So
Tony, you mentioned about putting teeth in it. What did you have in mind?
I really want to think about it, but legally, that's what jumped out at me was they picked that word diligent. So either you define what diligence is, saying you have to list it with a realtor, and if it doesn't work with that realtor, you switch. And when I say teeth, I want a definition. So if it's not followed, there can be something done about it.
I think that's fair. Another point that just popped into my head is the other businesses there. I think they would like to see other businesses to bring in people. So now we're going to tell all these small business owners, okay, we're just going to let more residents in, and I don't think that's really fair to them either.
And based on what I heard from the planning commission, they didn't sound too enthusiastic about it. I mean, they did. From my notes that I'm looking at, they had their 10-year plan there, and they didn't seem too enthusiastic about it.
Agreed. They're not enthusiastic about a wholesale rejiggering of the POCD, but they seem to be open to the amendments that you mentioned before. They seem to be open to that, at least. John Von Hise, the chair, certainly did not, 5 years into the 10-year plan, didn't want a wholesale re-engineering of the POCD at this time.
Sorry. I think I was okay with what they give us, A and B. I was okay with A, but I'm just not okay with B, and at this point, what do they have to do? Submit an application and then we vote, right? I mean, that's really about it at this point. So I'm very unlikely to change my mind about this. I don't know what could be done to make me change my mind.
And actually, I don't think we could even vote on it until the ZBA sees it. This is a variance, from the rules. So you'd have to go to ZBA first and get a variance. Now, if the ZBA saw fit to give it a variance, then we would have to follow the regulation. They get a variance from that, and if it meets all the other regulations, we'd have to pass it. But I think this may be one of the few times that maybe the zoning commission can send something down to the ZBA saying this is our feeling on this whole town center district and how we feel about giving variances for things such as this.
Maybe we should do that.
Yeah.
Proactive before all of a sudden we're reading minutes one week and we'll be like, ZBA did what now?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with them.
So regardless, I think it'll take a little while for us to look at and think about it, and maybe get Eric's input to it as well, to see about that. And maybe to think about, what are these definitions of diligent and everything? Because whatever we come up with, that could be expressed in a memo down to the ZBA.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what diligent means either. Is your rent too high? Why are you having a hard time renting it? That you're just telling me it's because it's in the back. Well, I don't, again, all of the other things that I said before, there's no reason for anybody to really go there right now other than get a sub, shop, get an ice cream and leave. There's nothing else there to go there. So, it's just not ready yet. So.
I'm
All right,
thinking
so,
about-
we can kind of, keep it in the back of our minds, let Eric know that, we talked about it again, maybe think about sending some thoughts to ZBA, and we'll see what happens next.
Did we get anybody from Taco Bachi show up?
Oh,
Allison, is there anybody in the waiting room?
No, Fran.
No.
Oh, wait, I just see somebody. Hold on.
oops. Hope we haven't left him there all day. It's all new technology.
Mhm.
Oh, it's an iPhone.
Okay. They're in now.
Oh, good.
Hi, it looks like someone joined us. You're just listed as iPhone. Are you here for 849 Federal Road?
Are they muted?
Yeah.
Nope,
No.
you're not muted.
I don't know if we can tell just by a phone. There's no microphone symbol.
Yeah, I don't see the microphone, but.
Hello, iPhone person, can you?
You can send a chat just to them.
Is there
Okay, let me tell
anybody out
them.
there?
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Can't hear-
We can't hear you.
Oh, it's connecting.
Hello?
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi. Okay, thank you.
you're here. Are you here for 849 Federal Road?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we'll go backtrack for everybody there. That's new business for 849 Federal Road, which is Taco Bachi. That's Z-20-65 for a site plan modification for a 792 square foot addition to the back of the restaurant. Looks like it received inland wetlands approval back on February 24th. And did you want to tell us about your proposal, sir? I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Salvatore Spadaro. Sal is good.
Okay, and actually, I guess we need your name and address for the record anyway, right?
You want the address?
Sure, thank you.
P.O. Box 855, Brookfield, 06804.
All right, so what do you want to do?
I want to put an addition on Taco Bachi.
Okay, you see this big old.
It's going to be a slab floor. I think there's one window. I think you have the one window and one door, double door like.
Mhm.
It's going to be a window in the first building, and they're going to come in, order, and then they're going to go sit down. You know, it's not a fancy restaurant. It's just seating. It's going to have 2 handicap bathrooms also.
Okay. Right, so the application says you're doing, want to do an addition to the back, that's 792 square feet. Then I see on the drawings, there's this part that says a patio dining area. What's that about? Is that just something you're thinking about someday in the future? Because it doesn't say anything about that on the application.
Well, you know what it is? We're getting the whole parking lot paved, and the guy went back there along the building, so it's like a blacktop. I guess that's why he called it the patio. Maybe he might put some tables out there. I don't know. But I'm just here for the building.
Okay, that's good, because that's all the application talks about.
Right.
And then the kitchen would stay sort of in that front area right where it is?
The kitchen, everything stays in the front like it is. The back is only a dining room. That's it. No cooking appliances, just the 2 bathrooms and tables.
Sal, I have a question.
Yes.
Would the very front door, would that no longer be used by patrons? Would they have to come in the side?
No. They can still use that. There's going to be a little space. It's going to be mostly kitchen, but I think takeout orders, people who call in just to come and pick it up, I think they're going to still use the front door.
Okay, so takeout in the front,
Yeah,
ordering and takeout.
right. And these 2 side doors here, they're going to walk in there, put their order in on that window, and then go probably and pay, I think. And then they're going to go sit down. It's a pickup. Then they call the number. There's no waitresses.
Mhm.
I mean, for now, anyway, that's what he wants to do. He doesn't like that. He likes just the way he's doing it right now. Pick up your food and go and eat it. No waitressing.
And just curious, is the next door neighbor, the tenant they share a wall with and everything? They kind of know about the proposed project and everything?
You're talking about the groomer?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I asked her if she wanted me to, if she wanted her building double too, or have an addition, this way I could make it even back there. But she's got plenty of room right now, and she's got about another year. And the girl that's in there now is going to take over because I'm extending her lease. She wants more years. They're doing very good. Thank God. Everybody there is finally doing good. I'm just waiting for my lights to come up Route 7. I thought they were going to come past my property onto the commercial property past me, the green property.
Yeah,
'Cause
that
that's
might
all
be the
commercial.
next phase.
Oh, okay. Now that's good.
Yeah, we're getting there.
All right. That's okay.
We won't forget about anybody north of Four Corners. But I think your side of the street. So you're on the good side of the street.
Yes. Yeah, I have one store. I think I have a lady that's going to open cupcakes, but no cooking on the premises. And another lady wants it for a florist. So we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right,
And,
Danny.
and I have a question about the stoplight. Does that mean anything about whether you're open or closed?
Yeah. When it's red, it's closed. When it's green, it's open.
And what about when it's green and yellow at the same time? You're about to close?
I have no idea. I just supplying the space. But I think the yellow one is like last call, or maybe an hour left or something. He's pretty out there. He's unbelievable. What a very good businessman. He packs them in.
Great.
I've been in the restaurant business for 40 years this year. And let me tell you, I don't know anybody that can open up 4 days from 4 to 8 and kill it. Amazing.
Great. Anybody else have any other questions?
I have a question for Fran. You know, Fran, when you look at the plan and you look at that patio area, it says proposed on it. And that makes me nervous because everything's proposed on here. So I feel like, you know, we'd have to make a stipulation that it doesn't include the patio if we were to approve it today. But
Hey,
I'm
can I ask
wondering,
a question?
yeah,
As far as patio, the word patio, if there's pavement out there and he wants to throw some tables over there, why he makes you nervous? I'm just asking.
no, it's just because we're approving the plan as it's presented to us. And
Okay.
the application doesn't mention the patio area and dining. And, you know, that is a difference for us to allow the dining and tables outside versus changing the exterior of a building. There's a difference.
Yeah,
So-
that's why that was my very first question. So
Yeah,
what's before us today is only the 782 square foot
Right.
addition in the back.
Right, exactly. No, I just asking. I don't know.
No, so
Is he gonna be,
So-
so that would have to be another permit, sir?
well, that technically, and that's why I'm asking Fran this question to see if it'd be an easy answer to say we'd be fine if we added it to the application, or would he have to resubmit it? What do you think, Fran?
I would suggest that he resubmits because there's certain conditions on the outdoor dining. I believe it has to be covered and stuff. Can't be taken away parking places. I've been going through this with a few of the applicants now that have the
Okay.
tent outside because they want to keep.
Okay.
And
So Sal, that's up to you whether you'd like us to approve the changes today, or you'd want to resubmit and do it all at
No,
once.
no, sir. No, sir. I want to go along with what we're doing. Just the building extension.
I'm just going to do the building extension.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
have one more question, I guess, for Fran first. I'm looking at the GIS, that building and the one property is that patio. We'll call it a patio for now, but it's not included on this application. Is that on the other property? Because it looks like it
Oh.
on the.
Good question.
I would say yes. Yeah, that's, yep.
And therefore, that would probably be a different address for the application if they want to do, outdoor dining.
Right, I understand. I got you. I have a variance on that site, but you're right. That patio would be mostly on the other property.
Okay, so, Fran, everything's good besides, the patio issue?
Oh, yeah, the addition's already been approved through wetlands and everything else, yeah.
Okay,
And I mean, obviously, either the applicant or the owner will be applying for building permits and stuff, so.
right. Okay.
All right, so we could entertain a motion to approve just the 792 square foot addition to the back of Takobachi, Z-20-65, if someone wanted to make that motion.
So moved.
Efficiency. And a
Want me to
second?
make it?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Good luck tonight,
Congratulations.
addition.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a great night.
Now, one second, one question. Can I go to the town hall and get the building stuff now?
No, you can do it online. Everything's available online, Sal. They don't take paper anymore.
All right, so you want me to fill out the building permit online?
Online, yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
You too. Thank you, guys.
Night.
You're welcome. Aye.
Bye-bye.
All right, and if I'm not mistaken, Fran sounded like you had something else?
I do. Couple things actually to go over with the commission. I had a call this week from a woman who's looking to move to Brookfield. She wants to be able to breed dogs. She's a dog breeder from Reading, and she wants to come to Brookfield and breed them. I said to her, I said, per our regulations, any dogs, you can't have no more than 3 dogs on the property, and they can't be over 4 months old. So her concern is, well, I'm a breeder, I'm not going to kennel them, but our regs indicate one thing, and I didn't know where to go with it, how to go with it. I mean, no, I think most dogs or puppies, they're let go at anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks, if I'm right.
Yeah.
If the mother, if she has more than, say she has a litter of 12, and then she can't get rid of them, then technically she has a kennel on her property, which requires 5 acres of land, which we don't want in a residential zone because no one wants to listen to all the dogs barking. And I just didn't know if the commission had any other thoughts on breeders compared to a kennel. Bless you, Kurt.
I was checking my internet connection.
Oh.
It's getting low. But that is a quandary because I know of people in town who do that sort of breeding, and they usually place them pretty quickly. But then there is that unintended side effect of if you can't place them anywhere, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And for someone who breeds them all the time, do people want that in their neighborhood too? I guess we have to think about that. It's almost like the chicken problem too,
Yeah.
Well,
It's
what
just
about the
something for
fact that there's not a problem until there's not a problem? If nobody reports that there's too many dogs there, then there's no enforcement issue in front of you, friend.
Yeah.
So it's only a problem if she can't sell the dog. So she's asking us hypotheticals, and I don't know.
But if is there an issue that if she's moving into a residential area and that's a business, or is that not an issue? I'm just asking because I don't know.
That's another.
That's another question. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, businesses are allowed in residential areas, but they're restricted to be a small part of, your residence, like
25% or something?
Yeah.
25%, 1 or 2 parking spaces, things that don't look like a business.
Right.
And I doubt breeders would look like that, And did she give any indication about how much land she was actually buying? How big?
No, she didn't even indicate a location. No, but she was looking in Brookfield. She wanted to move out of Reading. you know.
Yeah, I guess
I
like
don't think
Tony's
that's-
saying, it's hypothetical. So until it becomes a problem, it's not really a problem. And she would move and we wouldn't really know it. So maybe our job here is to educate her about what rules apply and that she can make
I
sure.
Right. 4 months is a long time to have a puppy. You know, I think that's it's not a, I don't know if it's still a puppy at 4 months, you know?
Yeah, could be the runt. You never know who was born with
I
something.
think
I
the,
have
the key is that she has to have enough land, I think, no matter what, because if those dogs are barking and they're outside, if, you know, it can't be, half an acre, it would probably get a lot of people pretty angry around them.
But that's the point. Guess that if that happened, people would report her and then Fran would be able to enforce zoning. So
enforce it,
that's,
right.
yeah, we need to see an issue first. She's just, I guess she's asking us.
Yeah, she's
for-
asking the question. I would tell her, look, you need to have something that has the proper amount of land. I would at least give her the guidance, and then
Right.
if,
Right.
if she doesn't listen to that guidance, then you have to enforce it after the fact.
Yeah, I told her 5 acres of land, and I think her face dropped on the phone because she was shocked.
But is it a kennel if you have 2 dogs and you're just
No.
breeding 2 dogs? No. Yeah,
Well,
she wants to have more.
More than 3 dogs over 4 months old.
It's 3 dogs? So I thought it was like 5 or something.
No.
I would say it's safe to just, I would say it's safe to just state the regulation. So I don't want to commit to anything saying that you're fine moving in here. And then when she does break the zoning laws, she comes back and said, well, you said I could do it as long as no one complained. That we're in a predicament then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she might not want to invest in a property if she can't legally have the dog business.
Yeah.
So she's being upfront about it, and we should be upfront back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and if you look in the table of permitted uses, kennels are allowed, and I think it's a commercial and industrial zones. Doesn't mention residential at all. So,
Right.
but just something for everyone to think about. So, and then one other one is going to be the signs, because they're popping out like crazy. So I don't know what the commission's thought is on finally, giving a date on the sign removal. I'm seeing banners, feather flags, everybody's advertising, and I don't want to be the killjoy right now, but it's getting too much out there. It's just,
I thought
when do you say enough's enough?
I thought we were doing it when we made the decision about the outdoor dining. Wasn't that July 10th or something?
July 15th.
July 15th.
July 15th. I think at least until that point, and then that's just my opinion, and then maybe we put the kibosh on it then.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they can go together.
Okay. As
And
long
we'll,
as
we'll keep an eye on Hartford, of course, too. Just, Connecticut looks really good right now, but just in case they don't go to the next phased opening or something, we might have to play with that July 15th date, but we have another meeting before then.
we do the 9th, yes.
I have one concern on that I don't want to, I've thought about a lot about the July 15th date. I know I talked about it, but I'm concerned about businesses not being able to stay open. Have we given any thought to that? Like I said, I know I'm new here, so I'm just throwing it out there because I know some of the surrounding towns are allowing the indoor and letting them keep their outdoor. Is that something that's allowed or something that we should talk about, or what do you folks think on that?
We're going to discuss that at the next meeting, I believe, right? Or is it something that we were doing today?
Is it as time for the next meeting?
Right, well, we made a motion to do the 15th last time already, so we.
All right. So we'll leave it for that.
Yeah.
We'll leave it for that.
Oh, I mean, not that we can't talk about it again. I think the biggest concern was once the bar part starts getting open, we wanted a little more control.
Right.
Right. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about it next meeting. That's fine.
Yeah, and I guess to talk about that was some people had a concern that if we take away the outdoor, but the indoor is not open all the way enough, then they kind of take a step backwards. So we're kind of caught between the safety of people, in the bar, and then, it really matters how many people actually end up going, because then parking becomes an issue. Is parking going to be an issue? Will people go out? So I guess we should think about that too. and see how people are doing with this outdoor dining and indoor dining, to see if those are full when we drive by. There's only about 6 or 7 places with outdoor.
One, yeah, but anywhere, but I'd say anywhere between 8 and 10, maybe. So there's a lot. So whether
Like, I've never seen the pita place. I never seen the pita place full, for example. Like, I drive by there all the time, and I never seen like a crowd out there. So for them not to keep it, I don't know if it would affect their business at all because no one's really using it.
I'm sorry, what was that location? Hummus and Pita?
The pita, yeah.
Hummus and Pita, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on everything and, try to be fair and keep it safe for people, but keep it hopefully profitable for businesses too.
Yeah, I mean, the executive orders are changing every day, so they're hard to keep up with.
Yeah, really.
Every day there's a new one coming out. Something's changing, so.
Sounds good.
Right.
Oh, and just one last thing. I received a message from Greg Steiner. He was sorry that he couldn't get into the meeting. He was trying to get in. He was in the waiting room, but I guess I didn't see him in there. I don't know if Allison, if you had seen him in there either, but.
Sorry, Fran, I didn't see him. Usually it gives me like an alert when someone's in there, and I didn't get any alerts or anything.
Yeah, and me either. I was looking for him too, because I figured Greg would have been here, and I know he wanted to be here, but he's going to touch base with me tomorrow, but he wanted the commission to know that he was attempting to get in, so.
Give him our apologies. I kind of thought he'd be here too.
Yep, it's not like Greg to miss something there, so.
Right.
So.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. Anybody got a motion?
Make a motion to dismiss and
All right. Motion to adjourn. We have a second.
adjourn.
Second.
Anybody in favor of that?
Aye.
In favor? All right.
It's nice
Have
to
a great
finish
week.
earlier.
Oh,
by the way,
Thursday
Fran,
night.
thank you for the packet. I was so excited.
Oh.
My 12-year-old, he goes, Mom, you got really big mail. I'm like, what's big mail? And I opened it up and I was like, holy cow.
And we need it for those really big plans. It was great. Thanks for bringing that
That
by.
was perfect timing, Leslie. I was pulling up and he was coming up to the mailbox and I said, perfect. I said, hey, buddy, can you give this to your mom? I don't want to walk down that driveway and all the way back.
Oh, yeah, I got a bad driveway. My garbage cans are always up at the top. I'm waiting for you to tell me I got to move them.
No.
Well, it's a Thursday night in summer. We'll say have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.